Hey everyone, welcome to your monthly market update.
Yeah.
We're here in February. We're covering January. We're going to just jump right in. So
Let's do it.
today we're talking about January's average sold price compared to last year.
It's crazy.
Crazy information we have for you today. So last year's average sold price was 580 grand. This year we're at 670,000. $90,000 difference.
I mean, can you believe we're in a market where the average price of a home is almost 700,000? People are like, it has to stop. It's just crazy.
It's crazy.
So what are you seeing out there then? So I mean, why is it jumping like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few reasons. I think we're seeing a lot of homes getting listed a little bit low. We've got a lot of bid wars taking place. You know, you list a house, you know, maybe a little 10, 20 under what you think it might be worth, and then all of a sudden you've got 50 people looking at it. Everyone thinks it's in their budget, and everyone wants to stretch it and, you know, make that their house. And so you've got 40 offers, 30 offers on a home, and it skyrockets through through price. It's wild.
You know, what's interesting is last year that started, I've been telling people, I think the craziness that you experienced last year with your buyers, I think it was really hit around March, April.
March, April, yeah.
And honestly, we're seeing it in January. I mean, we're now in February, but our numbers, we saw these crazy overbids in January.
Yeah, it's already here. I think part of that, and we'll jump into kind of active listings, but we've got half the active listings this year as we had last year. So last year we had 5,500. This year we've got, 2,800, 2,900?
And, you know, I talk about this all the time. What's so crazy, and I hope people watching our market updates are starting to get this mindset and they're understanding a neutral market, not a seller's market, which we've been in for years. People think this is going to stop, but honestly, we've been in a seller's market for 10 years.
10 years.
I mean, it's been insane, and it's been like this for 10 years. I remember 10 years ago working with a buyer, and the seller wouldn't put a new furnace when it was leaking like gas. Like my clients had a brand new baby.
Crazy.
They needed a furnace. It wasn't any good 10 years ago. And the seller's like, go buy another house. We don't care.
Wow.
That was 10 years ago. And they were like, oh, it's got to stop eventually. And here we are 10 years later. But anyway, not a seller's market that we've been in for 10 years. Yeah. Probably not stopping.
Nope.
Not a buyer's market, but a neutral market. You need 6 months of houses.
Yeah.
And we are at 0.5.
0.5 of 1 month. Half a month.
That's 8% of what we need. 8%. I'm asking people, like, how in the world are we going to get 10 times the amount of homes on the market? Like, the only way to slow down a market is to add inventory or really slow down the demand. Like everything crashes or something happens, and neither of those are looking like they're going to be a possibility.
We need a ton of homes, you know, even new builds, you're a year, 2 years out. We need 10,000 new builds yesterday. We don't have that, you know. It's just not here yet. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I've said this on some other videos too. I think new builds will help. I think that's going to be a huge part of bringing our inventory up. But I have taken 2 buyers out in the last couple months, and no exaggeration, we went to, I think, 8 builders, and all but 2 of them literally laughed at me out loud. 6 of them literally looked at me like, are you in the Stone Ages? Like, no, we don't have houses. And I asked the salesperson, like, when, that's fine. We're looking at a new build. We know you got to build it. Like, when will we have a home if we start the process? Here's what the builders told me. We have 1 home, 1 lot.
Just one.
One. And it will be a year and a half before we break ground. So it's like 2 years out before they get a house. So obviously a lot of these are inundated. There's a lot of, you know, they got to get their new projects started. And I get them, they'll have some land and some projects, but there's no new builders with land right now. So it's pretty crazy.
It's unbelievable.
So yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Why don't we jump in a little bit about last year being a wild year. This year we're looking like another wild year. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I said to our team last year, this is historic. It will never be like this again.
Yeah.
Like to buy a house last year, you're crazy to buy them in the overbids because we'll never see another year like this. We have half of the inventory this year than we did last, like you just said. I think you just mentioned that statistic. We have 55 homes. 5,500 homes. Now that sounds like a lot of homes till you realize that's every price range, all of Metro Denver. That's Parker, Aurora. That's that's everything, right? That's Broomfield. That's Castle Rock. I mean, it's everything. And we now have less than 3,000 homes. So we have almost half of the homes that we had last year. Yeah, I think this year is already started. Yeah. What we didn't see happen till March last year, we're already seeing in January this year. I think it's going to be a lot worse. I really do. I think this year is going to be worse than last. Our overbids are already worse than we saw last year. I mean, what are you seeing as far as overbids? What are some of the? I mean, you're seeing 80 to 100 on almost every house.
Crazy, yeah. We were just bidding on a couple houses this last couple weeks, and we got outbid on one that went 130 over, one that went 120 over, which, that's 10-20% over the list price. I talked to a buddy who's also in real estate, and he was saying he's experiencing the same thing. They're experiencing 50 to 150 over the list price, which is wild.
And I think the thing to make note of, some of these are listing low, right? A little lower, as you alluded to, than what it's worth. But when we talk overbids, we're talking 100 to 120,000 over what the value is, right? Yeah. We're pulling comparables, and we're looking at a home that may list at 550, and we're saying the highest comp is 545. So maybe we'll give it to you that it's worth 550, and then it goes for 650.
Yeah.
That's, bonkers. Exactly. So, yeah, I think this year is going to blow away last year. Exactly. I think if you're a buyer, man, you really need to be strategic. And if you're a seller, man, plan it accordingly because it's going to be a hot year for sure.
It's wild. Let's talk about your belief in the market right now. I mean, it's crazy. We just talked about how crazy last year was, how crazy this year is going to be, how crazy it's looking. What do? Do you believe in this?
I am telling everybody buy as much real estate as you can.
Yeah.
And I believe it so much. You guys know me. I'm a little more aggressive than maybe somebody who's very conservative. Yeah. A really, really, really good friend of mine is extremely conservative. And he's called me a couple times saying, should I bid 100,000 over on this? And he's like, I don't even care at this point. I think you're right. And so even the conservative people are saying we just got to get a home. Yeah, I called my wife. I just bought $2.5 million in real estate. Just did. My goal this year is to buy 10 to 15 homes.
Yeah.
My wife, when I called her and said, hey, I just got a contract on a third that I'm buying. In the last month, I'm buying my third home. My wife was a little taken back. She's a little more conservative as me. So if you know Michelle and know my wife, give her a hard time or give me a hard time. And I looked her right in the eyes, Seth, and this is exactly what I said. I said, Michelle, my goal this year is 10 to 15. Wow. So don't be surprised when I buy 1, 2, 3 every couple weeks. That's my goal. I believe it that much. I believe that there is nothing slowing this market down. This is 23 years experience. This isn't crazy talk. This isn't, a flash in the pan. This isn't, it's a really hot roller coaster and it may come down. I think we got 5 years of this. And if you can make $100,000 per home, I'm going all in. Yeah. I really am. I'm going all in. This is it. This is what we wait for in our life, and I'm going to take advantage of it. So.
Well, good for you. I'm excited to see how that all turns out. That'll be really fun.
Well, hopefully.
I think it'll be all right. I think it'll be all right.
Hopefully it's a good thing. Hopefully I'm shooting these videos from Hawaii in a couple years. But anyway, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. I know that's a lot of information, but be watching for our Tips Tuesdays. We are going to break down a lot of things that are dictating this market. We're already at 9.5 minutes, so we don't have time to go through all. But in the next couple months, every Tips Tuesday, Tuesday. We're going to break down the market. We're going to break down what you need to be looking for, why it's happening this way. So be watching our Tips Tuesday. If you're not getting this information, make sure you like our page. Make sure you share it with your friends, because everybody is going to want to get in on the action of this market, or at least buy a home to live in and not be renting anymore. So God bless. Thanks for sharing. We'll see you real soon.